What's up, losers? Today I'm back with some more r/fatlogic whimsy. Taking a peek at a couple of interesting posts, sharing my thoughts on them, and having a few chuckles. This is episode 128 in the fatlogic series. And I'm ready to have my eyes opened to the divine truth of fat acceptance. So without further delay, let's get into it.
Roses for Everybody is calling for fat inclusion, beginning with the next season of The Bachelor, slated for January 2023. The campaign is specifically making 5 demands of the Bachelor franchise. Its creator Mike Fleisch, NZK Productions, Warner Brothers, and ABC. 1. Cast a minimum of 5 diverse fat people each season of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. 2. Give equitable, non-fat identity-focused screen time to the fat contestants. 3. Choose leads who specified that they will date diverse fat people. 4. Provide support to fat contestants, including inclusive clothing options, when required for sponsored events, and mental health support to navigate anti-fat harassment from the audience. 5. Hire fat staff and production, and incorporate fat inclusion training from fat liberationists.
Ha ha, wow, they're really tackling the important issues of the day now, aren't they? I mean, who among us hasn't wept bitter tears over the abject injustice of The Bachelor? I know I have. It's just so damn tragic. No, but seriously, do these people really not have anything better to do with their time? Like, they're entitled to feel strongly about whatever they want to, and to express their frustration about it however they see fit. But I, for my part, can't imagine starting a whole protest movement over something as frivolous as a cheesy reality show like The Bachelor not having enough fat contestants. And if I'm being honest, seeing shit like this makes it pretty hard for me to take fat activist claims about their supposed oppression seriously, because you'd think that if they had real stuff going on, they'd be too preoccupied with it to be going to war with The Bachelor. As for the complaints themselves, I'm struggling with the use of the word demands, as opposed to, I don't know, requests, please, entreaties maybe, because unless I'm missing something, these people are not in a position to be making demands of anyone. The producers of the show are not obliged to go along with whatever fat activists might ask of them. And if anything, having these concerns raised to them in such a rude and entitled way is probably only going to make them less likely to cooperate. And understandably so, because at the end of the day, nobody likes to be told what to do, especially not by a bunch of overgrown babies, haha. For what it's worth, I don't really take issue with fat people being included on The Bachelor, because fat people are entitled to a shot at romance just like everyone else. And I don't see any reason why they should be excluded from the show as a matter of policy. But some of these demands are just ludicrous. I mean, fat quotas, fat inclusion training from fat liberationists, getting the leads to make a pledge that they will date fat people. It's just nuts. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm in favor of treating fat people with compassion and respect. But going this far to normalize what is ultimately a dangerous and completely avoidable condition in obesity is not the direction that we should be going in as a society. And giving paid opportunities to fat liberationist kooks to spread the destructive, anti-science BS to a wider audience is an even worse idea. Like, seriously guys, get a grip. I guess the moral of the story is that fat activists really will do absolutely anything to avoid facing facts and taking responsibility for their own actions, instead of doing what any reasonable person would do, listening to doctors and scientists, acknowledging the danger of obesity, and taking the necessary steps to lose weight. They will go on embarrassing crusades like this one, trying to reshape reality so that it better conforms with how they wish things would be. Sighs. How sad.
Send me anonymous messages.
Do you ever worry about how your fatness impacts your health?
Nope, but I do worry all the time that I'm not being treated thoroughly by doctors. Because they overlooked something due to only seeing my fat, instead of keeping at the forefront of their mind that I am an entire human. With socioeconomic and environmental impact, trauma, allergies, mental illness, different mobility, and genetic predispositions. You know, the things that actually do impact health.
Sighs. Blaming doctors again, are we? That's a new one. This post really is a rapid-fire barrage of rubbish, which makes it hard to respond to in a unified and comprehensive way. So, as I usually do in such situations, I'll have to offer up my objections to it in a list format. Here we go. 1. Doctors absolutely do take mental illness, allergies, eating disorders, and genetic predispositions into account when treating their patients and assessing their conditions, so this post is just flat out wrong in implying that these are things that doctors will ignore in favor of a singular focus on weight. So that's not great. 2. Some of the things that this post talks about, that it acknowledges can affect health, are not weight per se, but are either things that contribute to obesity, e.g. socioeconomic and environmental factors, or things that are caused by obesity, e.g. mobility issues. So it seems pretty clear to me that the poster is knowingly jumping around the weight issue and trying to explain it away through reference to other factors to which it is inextricably tied, without actually addressing the weight question on its own terms, in any kind of substantive way, which is pretty cheap and unconvincing, if you ask me. And 3. The post's inclusion of the genetic, socioeconomic, and environmental factors that contribute to obesity also seems to serve the purpose of shielding fat people from judgment. As if to say, it's not our fault that we're fat. We've had a hard time of things. While I'm not unsympathetic to the challenges that socioeconomic and environmental disadvantage represent, this line of argumentation ultimately misses the point of going to see a doctor. Because the doctor is not interested in passing moral judgment on you for being fat. They are interested in what your fatness means for your health, and what action you should take in light of this information. There's no need to get defensive about the background reasons for why you might have become fat. Because the doctor doesn't care. It's not an interrogation, and the point of the exercise is to identify and resolve your health problems, not to make a moral determination about you one way or another. So basically, this is another red herring. All in all, what bothers me most about this post is how the poster clearly isn't operating in good faith. Like, it's one thing to deal with people whose intentions are pure, and who just happen to be wrong about a bunch of stuff. But that's not what we've got here. It is abundantly clear to me that this post is a knowing exercise in deflection, blame shifting, and excuse making, on the part of the person who wrote it. And frankly, I just find that disgraceful. Sighs. Onto the last post.
Most of our issues with food can be resolved by eating like a grown-ass adult. Eating like a grown-ass adult means trusting your body over diet culture messages. It means eating enough to sustain your glorious existence, and no longer depriving yourself of your desires.
Wow. All I can say to this one is, the poster and I have very, very different perspectives on what grown-ass adulthood entails. To me, adulthood is about maturity, responsibility, discipline, self-control, long-term thinking, and getting one's priorities in order. But to this person, I guess it's about reckless indulgence, living for the moment, with no thought for the future, or for how your actions might affect other people, believing that it doesn't matter what you eat, so long as your body guides the way, and that we should never deprive ourselves of our desires, regardless of how self-destructive they might be. I don't really know what more there is for me to say. Because the ideas put forward by the post are so diametrically opposed to my own, that there's little room for discussion. I guess it's up to you to decide which version of grown-ass adulthood makes more sense to you. I'm quietly confident that my side will win out with most viewers. But who knows, maybe I'm just stuck in the past, and this alternative vision represents the adult of the future. Only time will tell. Well, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed reading through these posts with me, and that my commentary added to the experience in some way. What do you think? Does The Bachelor need more fat representation? Should fat people worry about how their fatness might affect their health? Or just relax and blame doctors for everything? Does being a grown-ass adult mean relinquishing all self-control for the sake of boundless indulgence? Let me know in the comments. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, or I'll release you from your glorious existence. Just kidding, haha. Anyway, catch you later.